Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
Good evening, everyone. If you're a prepper, you're in the right place at the right time. This is the Prepping Academy, skirting the globe through miles of fiber optic cable at nearly the speed of light directly to you, with your hosts, Forrest and Kyle. Coming to you from the Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, the information you get from the show could save your life. Whether you're a veteran, beginning prepper, or just curious, there is something here meant for you.
Hey, welcome to the Prepping Academy. I'm Forrest. We got Tenderfoot on the other line. And thank you for joining us. So you can visit our website at preppingacademy.com. That's preppingacademy.com. Tenderfoot, are you here tonight?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yeah, so he apparently, tell us what's wrong with you. Go ahead.
I'm at my bug out location right now.
Why? Because the NFL is causing chaos?
That's exactly it. No, I'm a little under the weather, so I don't want to bring that around anybody else. So just kind of gonna do this through the phone.
Yeah. So hey, we're going to be we're still going to carry on. He's sick, and so in my studio, meaning my room. My bonus room in my house, we literally sit within 2 feet of each other. So I do appreciate you not coming, getting me sick. And we spit and yell at each other.
That's right.
So, hey guys.
Back and forth.
Yeah, if you're on Blog Talk Radio and you just tuned into us live, go to Prepper Broadcasting Network. That's prepperbroadcasting.com. Prepperbroadcasting.com. You can listen to us live over there. You can also join in the chat room that we have going. And, hey, are you able to see the chat room tonight?
Oh, I'll have to go get it. I did not bring that over with me.
Hey, this is Tenderfoot's first time calling in, so he's we're going to have to cut him some slack, I guess. So. But yeah, jump over to prepperbroadcasting.com. This show is broadcast live every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you don't catch us live, you can always catch us in a podcast. You just look on iTunes or Google Play, Intune, all the different places. We're out there somewhere. So tonight we're going to talk about a subject that is kind of interesting. And the way the question is phrased is also interesting. But for the last hour, we've had on the CPN, which is Carolina Prepper Network, we've actually had a ZeloNet going, and we were talking about this particular question. And the answers, I mean, they ranged all over the place. And so I wanted to, the question is, or the statement is, how do you know when it's time to bug out? And, of course, everybody's like, well, you got to know the situation. Well, that is true. You got to know the time of the year. Okay, that is true. But what if you had a document or a plan, and you would take what is going on, stick it in your document, and it would then maybe help you determine when it's time to bug out? I heard a lot of people say, hey, we're not planning on bugging out because we're at our bug out retreat. And, maybe a lot of people in Houston, Texas thought that. A lot of people in Florida. There's some things that can cause you to bug out. I don't care where you are. In the hills of Idaho, if there's a volcano blows, you may be in the path or near one that you may have to move. So anyway, hopefully we can discuss it a little bit past the thinking of, I'm in my bug out location, maybe we can get into scenarios or things to look for. So I emailed the notes to Tenderfoot, and kind of what we were going to talk about. And so, Tenderfoot, what's your thought on this?
Of when to bug out, specifically, I always like the strategy that you've taken. Is that's more of like a practice of when to practice. You have different plans that you come up with, and you got to make sure that you have that. I think you got to be ready at any moment, and I guess it depends on the distance of where you're going and the location. But I'm the kind of guy that has a contingency plan, even outside of just my regular bug out location.
Yeah, and I mean, we're both ex-military people, so you always have a plan A, plan B, plan C. I mean, that's just natural for us. Don't you agree with that?
It is.
Yeah, it was just instilled in it. It's hard to get that out. Someone coined the phrase, one is none, two is one. And so you got to have plans and different places to go to. So I guess about 3 or 4 years ago, I found an acronym because that is the mystery question. Wouldn't you think? I mean, that's the mystery question. Everyone preps and plans, but that's the key one to get correct.
Definitely.
And it's so important to get it as accurate as you can of when you want to bug out. So the acronym, before we go there, there's not always a correct answer. But there's a plan that you can put together to maybe help you get to the correct answer. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
we can't see each other.
You yes man tonight. I say it and you go yeah. What he said.
I'm actually trying to log in here and get into the chat room all at the same time. I am so drugged up right now. My goodness.
It's for health reasons only, right? So
that's right.
There are times that you do want to ride emergencies out at home. There's also times that you're either forced to get out or you have to get out. And also sometimes if you bug out early and you go back to your house, that could cost you money. It can also cost you confidence within your group. So let's say if I'm the group leader in my survival group and I go, guys, it's getting bad, let's bug out. And we bug out, we stay 3, 4 days, 5 days, and people are going, well, it's not that bad. Then we come back home. I believe that would cost some confidence in people of if we should have bugged out, if the decision was made properly. So there's some consequences to bugging out early, but I'm a bug out early kind of guy. And because, I mean, when you bug out, it's serious. I mean, that's a lot of work. So the acronym that I've used a lot for the bugging out is REDOUT, REDOUT, and of course it's an acronym. So I'm going to go through what each one of them mean. They stand for. REDOUT. The R is resources are almost gone. E, environment not safe. D, destination to go. O, overwhelming force against you. U, unprepared for the situation. And T, threat is increasing. So that's something we're going to talk through this acronym. And I'm hoping that as we talk through this, instead of your answer would be, because it was a majority on Zello, and it's fine. The majority was, they're like, oh, I'm just staying home, or it depends on the situation. Well, that is true. But in the military, and tell me if I'm wrong here, Tenderfoot, if
All right.
there's a flow chart in a sense for everything in the military. I mean, if you do A, you're going to have, there could be 6 possible answers. And then the flow chart would tell you what to do next. Am I right? I mean, you got to, every possible thing has been thought through.
Right. You do. You have to take a lot of things into account.
Yeah, even the scenario of everything has failed, you're screwed. That's already pre-planned in a military operation. So what we're going to do is we talk through this. Maybe it can give you some ideas and maybe a place to work from to determine if you need to bug out or not. And I hope this is valuable. I don't know. I don't think I've ever shared this with anyone. And I looked on the internet today for this, and I found one website. That referred to another website that was no longer on the internet about this acronym. And again, the acronym is REDOUBT. So the first one was resources are almost gone. So let's say you're at your house. And if you notice, a lot of these don't have anything to do with, they have to do internally, not only externally. So it has to do with both. The resources, okay. Your resources are almost gone. So if you only have, let's say, 30 days worth of food, and you look outside and you see the grocery stores don't have food, FEMA's not coming in to save you, and you're at day 20, it's time to start thinking about moving to get to resources. You know what I mean? You don't want to wait till your resources are depleted. You want to kind of, so that's the resources are almost gone. Or even in your area, if all the grocery store food is gone, that's a time to go. I mean, it really is. Again, right. Depending on where you are. If you're up in Boone, a lot of people in Zello, they were up in Boone. That could be a safe place for sure. But if you're in Greenville, South Carolina, Charlotte, Raleigh, Greensboro, there's a million people getting ready to come after your resources when they can't find it in the grocery store. And Puerto Rico is proving this right now today. People are robbing each other. There are no resources whatsoever. And it is chaos over there.
You posted that earlier.
I did. A friend of mine, he's a elected official here in town, emailed a friend, and he goes, "Man, people are getting robbed. There are no resources." I mean, it's a tough situation. When people can't find food, they're going to find food. It may be you.
That's right. And like even in this, depending on the scenario, if you see something happening, I don't know if you've got stuff at your current location going to your bug out location. Obviously, you want resources there, but there might be opportunity for you to make several trips back and forth safely. But I think that's things that you need to consider and have a plan for as well.
Absolutely. So I'm a bug out fast kind of guy. If I see something that is absolutely throws alarm bells up, you need to go. It's always easy to come back, but there's a certain point in every disaster, every crap hits the fan scenario, that it's too late. I mean, there is a defining moment that it will be too late for you to get to your bug out location. And I have a lot of faith in America. Let me clarify that. I've said this many times. People, you can choose to disagree with me, but if a nuclear bomb, if North Korea shot a nuclear bomb and hit Chicago, let's say they hit New York, let's say they hit even Washington, D.C., I believe that people are so dependent on a paycheck and dependent on their job, the next day, I believe that 90+% of Americans would still go to work because they're so dependent on that paycheck. They have so much faith that our government would be able to pull through this. And I think that's an advantage to us. That gives us time to pack, get our families together, go out and eat at your last meal at Longhorn Steakhouse or wherever you choose, and you go. And I just believe that there's time. Now, EMP, that's totally different. That's the only one. That's the big grill in the room. You just can't. That's just a tough one to prepare for. But the first one, on Redoubt, the resources are almost gone, and that's your personal resources, and that's your hood, your neighborhood, your area that you live in. When they're getting depleted, it is time to go. It has been proven over and over. If people can't get your resources, they're okay with you not getting your resources. They'll burn your house down. They don't, as long, imagine this house that had all these resources and no one can kind of penetrate it. I'm telling you, gangs would just burn it down just so that they couldn't eat their own resources. But so resources. Number 2, again, it's Redoubt. We did R for resources. 2 is environment's not safe. Environment not safe. That's many things. That's even in Miami, Florida, when a hurricane's coming. That's the wildfires up in Tennessee.
Right.
That's chemical spills, riots. And if a riot's coming down the street, there's times that you could temporarily bug out or fully bug out, depending on just the area is not safe. And
you also have to consider where you're going to in this.
Right.
So with your entire OPSEC. With each one of these, not only where you are, but where you're going, you have to apply this. And so, that leads to the question, and we've talked about this one of the Thursday night classes that we've met at, but what are you going to do if you run into your bug out location is under fire, if you will? Because I think we talked about that during those fires in Tennessee.
Right. Yep. And we came up with solutions for that and some ideas, but you can't. Even the military, they don't have perfect scenarios or plans that work 100% all the time. That's why you've always got to have options. In my particular case, which I've shared this with CPNers at meetings, is we have some local people really close to our bug out location. So it may take me, a day, 2 days, a week to get there, but we have local people right there that can secure that pretty quickly within, 20, 30 minutes to an hour. But again, not everyone has, each group in each scenario is different. But sometimes you're forced to move, especially in my old house. I was less than a mile from a train track, and they carried a chemical that if there would have been a derailment, they would have literally, probably about a 3 or 4 mile area just evacuated everyone. That was always concerning, and that was in downtown Matthews. It's a hot spot for some dangerous chemicals going through there. So 1, resources; 2, environment. We're doing Redoubt. Number 3 is destination to go. If your destination, your retreat, is in worse condition than you are currently, you might want to stay.
Right.
But you also, there's where comms. It came up in a Zello channel. If you don't have communications, it's going to be tough to make some decisions on when to go, where to go, how to get there, because you got to get some intel. I just looked in the chat room. Have you looked in the chat room yet?
I am. I'm finally in there.
Okay. What's your? Oh, you're in Tenderfoot. Great. But So destination, you got to have a place to go. And I've come up with solutions for people if they don't have a bug out location. And maybe you could, that's in a past podcast, but, I think they're pretty valid but I'm not going to go into that. So you can go listen. But there are bug out locations waiting for you to go take in the proper way. And maybe that's another show again. We'll cover sometime. So that's destinations. And so a lot of people don't have a bug out location, but you can always bug out to grandma's house or Aunt Susan. I'm just making this up. I mean,
yeah.
Because if you're in South Carolina, there's so many nuclear plants in the Carolinas. It's crazy. I mean, it is. I mean, and if there's a problem, you may just need to go to Tennessee. But you've got to think through this. This stuff needs to be written down and planned out before it happens. If not, you're going to be sitting there twiddling your thumbs, or you're going to be forced out by the government, and that is never a good situation.
Yeah, you're gonna also have to have, and that was one of the classes that I believe they had there. Well, they had the one getting home, but you could take that same amount of information that they had at the prepper camp, and take that information and apply it to a map. Get your map, give that to everyone who needs to be a part of that, and get to your location, and to know what's en route.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. These people are trying to come up with a nickname in the dang chat rooms, ticking me off.
Are they still doing that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to ignore it. I see what you're talking about now. That's why you always don't let me look at it.
Yeah. It's funny because, I guess I'm not saying I'm more experienced, but I look at it and turn away. You look at it and you go, oh, wow. They're typing.
There you go. Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Okay, and then we did REDO. O is overwhelming forces against you. So that overwhelming forces against you, that makes you a target. I mean, everyone's house is a bug out location, sure. But just know that your walls are brick or masonite. You got glass windows. Your house is not a fort, and that's a disadvantage. I mean, can you harden it? Oh my goodness, you can't harden it enough. So the ideal situation is not hardening your house, because, again, you could put metal over the windows and the doors, but a little cocktail up on the roof of your house, your whole house burns down. You're running out for your life. And, it's just, I don't know. Maybe that's because I live around so many people. And I need to move to my bug out location. But when you do that, that's a whole different lifestyle, isn't it?
It is.
It is crazy. A whole different lifestyle. So overwhelming forces, may force you, because you could become a target. If you don't join a gang, you could just absolutely. So, but a group, especially a survival group and a family, they need to start thinking about this stuff beforehand. They really do. Because this decision here is one that could cost you your life. If you stay, and you got that, and intel is huge too. You got to know what's going on. So everyone in the chat room saying shoot first. Isn't that always the case? Shoot first. Oh, now they're trying to get you to look at the chat so that you'll mess up.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one's an unprepared situation. You're not prepared for it. Are we really prepared for EMP? Are you?
Yeah, and then really we don't really know until, especially that one, until it happens. I think you talked about there being certain tests and stuff, but that's a good question.
Hey, let's take a quick break.
Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
And just today I had someone call me and said, hey, and asked me if solar panels were EMP proof. And, you know, I told him, I don't know. From my understanding of electronics, a solar panel is a diode, and diodes are exactly what screws up in an EMP. It's not resistors, it's not capacitors, it's the diodes. And if that's the case, then solar panels would not be EMP proof. But you know, this is a question for, I guess, someone like Scott Hunt. It's just above my head. I don't know. I guess they talked about it at prepper camp. I didn't go to that class. So.
Oh, with the solar, yeah.
Did you go to that?
I went to the one in plain English. I don't remember them saying anything about EMP.
It was so plain, they didn't even say EMP.
It was, you know, he said plain English, but he could still talk over your head.
That's funny. Yeah. But so are solar panels? I don't know. So how about a financial collapse? Are we really prepared for a financial collapse? Now, I mean, are you prepared for a financial collapse?
Am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think so. Maybe not financially, but you know, I'm not the gold and silver guy, but I do have other means to be able to get me by and continue to go.
Yeah. Well, I think the worst part of a financial collapse is not the collapse itself. It is the steps to the collapse. I think it's going to be a frog in the pond, or pot. I mean, when does it get so bad that you just, you know, you take yourself out of social environments? When do you leave your property? I think people will be sucked in and going, well, it's bad, but it's not going to get, you know, maybe this is as bad as it's going to get. And I think it's like a slow death, and people aren't prepared for that because us as preppers, we want an incident and we want to react, right?
Right. Yeah.
That's so much simpler to just, hey, you know, give me this, and I know what to do. But if it's something I have to figure out and think through and a judgment call, that scares me.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think a lot of these situations that we'll be in, and it kind of goes back to a little bit what you were saying earlier, you know, people are going to still try to go about their normal routines. And I think a lot of it is going to be that stuff that can kind of creep up on us and slow. I don't know if it's going to be just like in your face, hey, like the movies, if you will, and you're already in that situation and you got to move. You know, it depends on the scenario, but I still think that's what's going to get you is that comfortability, and then people are like, well, we're going to try to maintain right here. We try to figure it out, and then you'll probably fall in depending on the situation. You know, you'll be a part of that, and then it may catch you in the end or something.
Right. Yep. And you know, I'm not a big EMP guy. I think an EMP will only happen by mistake. I don't think North Korea has the technology. I know they have 2 satellites rotating, over the United States. I just don't think they have the technology. But I'm going to share an idea. But first, I'm sure G-Man it's at the bottom of the hour at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And if G-Man is ready in the studio, I know we have a commercial break that is here. And so when we come back, I'm going to share a thought that a extreme patriot shared with me and get your thoughts on it, Tenderfoot. We'll be right back in just a moment.
Do not buy emergency food until you compare Legacy Food Storage. You already know you need an emergency food supply. Legacy wants to ensure that you get higher quality, longer shelf life, better tasting non-GMO freeze-dried food, and Legacy gives you up to double food for your money. There's a huge secret our competitors don't want you to know. Never compare food storage based on cost per serving, because serving sizes vary. Compare based on the weight of the food. Legacy gives up to double the food for your budget. Visit LegacyFoodStorage.com. That's LegacyFoodStorage.com. Use coupon code PREPPER to save 15% on your order.
Hi, I'm Joe Alton, MD, also known as Dr. Bones of the award-winning survival medicine website doomandbloom.net and co-author of the bestseller The Survival Medicine Handbook. As a medical doctor, I know how important it is to have knowledge, but you'll need supplies if you're going to save lives in a disaster. We've got an entire line of medical kits for every homestead, retreat, workplace, vehicle, church, school, just about any purpose you might imagine, and they're all put together by a real MD and nurse practitioner. Other kits are fine when the ambulance is on the way, but when you're the end of the line with regards to your family's well-being, you'll be a more effective medical asset with kits and supplies uniquely designed for tough times and packed in the USA. Prepare your family for any disaster with medical kits and supplies at store.doomandbloom.net. That's store.doomandbloom.net. Make medical kits by Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy a part of your medical storage. You'll be glad you did.
Hi, this is Ron Paul. I am a former congressman, physician, and presidential candidate. The world is in turmoil. Things like Ebola, earthquakes, wars, and famines are commonplace. As Americans, we are largely sheltered from these events. However, in parts of the world, just having enough food is a huge problem. For some of us, there is the nagging thought that we may not always have it so good. So we keep some food on hand just in case. My family and I have found a product that helps us do this better. It's a home freeze dryer from Harvest Right. With it, we eat healthier and store a little more food. We freeze dry everything we love to eat, and it lasts up to 25 years. Who knows what the future will bring? One thing's certain, my family and I will always have food on the table. To learn more, go to harvestright.com or call 800-923-9591. That's harvestright.com or 800-923-9591.
Hey, we're back to the Prepping Academy. I'm Forrest. We got Tenderfoot on the phone with us tonight. He's not feeling so well. So he's drugged up and feeling wonderful, right?
That's it.
Hey, I do want to remind everyone we are live every Friday night. Monday night. Dang, that used to be Friday night. Now it's Michael Klein's on Friday night at 9 p.m. But on Monday nights, we're live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on PrepperBroadcastingNetwork.com. PrepperBroadcastingNetwork.com. Is that right? No, PrepperBroadcasting.com. PrepperBroadcasting.com is live on Friday night. Yep. So I got some big news. Tenderfoot, you don't even know this. So this is big news. So I've got a guest that's going to come on October 30th. And he does a podcast I've been listening to for years. And he's an author. His name is Dale Goodwin. Do you know? And he does the podcast Prepper Recon. And he wrote the book Days of Noah, The Days of Elijah. He's written all these books. I think he does anyway. And one of the best authors ever. The Days of Noah, I absolutely loved. he's got this new series that he's been releasing books. I think I've read one so far, but he's going to be on the show on October 30th, and that is exciting because I've been listening to Prepper Recon for several years, I know, and he does such a great job on there. So anyway, he also is the co-author of Southern Prepper One, Dave Kopler's book as well. So we got a lot of things to talk about. So but that is October 30th. Have you read the Days of Noah series?
I've not.
Dude.
But I will.
Yeah, you got like 30 some days. It's really good. It's really good. And I actually listened to that series because the guy he has reading them he's really good. I forgot his name, but something Pierce or something. But anyway, that's October 30th. Dale's going to be on from Prepper Recon. Pretty excited about that. So anyway, I ran into, I would say maybe an extreme kind of person. I spoke at Prepper Camp, and one of the statements I made was, about the Carolina Preppers Network is we're not against government. We're against big government, and we are for freedom.
Right.
Personal freedoms. And I made that statement, and this guy comes up to me, and we're talking, and he goes, Forrest, the only way we can get personal freedoms back is an EMP. And I kind of looked at him a little bit, and I go, I've heard this before. But he said, he just threw up this scenario. Now, I'm not in this group. I do not know this guy. I wouldn't even be able to tell you who this guy was. And obviously, he doesn't have the capability of doing this himself, I wouldn't think. But he said that, what if a group of patriots set off an EMP over America? And I just couldn't get past all the people dying. I know it would get our freedoms back because they couldn't, track our phones or our cars or anything like that. But, gosh, do they not understand that 90% of the United States would die if an EMP hit? That's crazy. I'm not for that at all. So, there's limits to get your freedom. And to sacrifice 90% of America, I would not be for that.
No.
So anyway, I just thought that was, I think I was stunned that people actually think like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And yeah, it's kind of bad. We kind of have a different, I guess, take because of our background.
Yeah, our faith. Yeah.
Yep.
And so I want you to say something. Is it Mark? Someone said it was Mark. It's not Mark.
Yeah, I was just.
Is it Mark? Yeah, I thought it was Dale. I just looked it up to make sure I'd said it right. Yeah. Oh, it is Mark. Oh, Dale's another guy. Oh, yeah, you're right. It is Mark. I screwed up. It's Mark Goodwin. I screwed up. Yeah, Dale Goodwin is another friend of mine that does another podcast. Oh, I screwed that up. Anyway, I will edit that out, and that never happened. Actually, I probably can't. So anyway, but just come October 30th. It's gonna be fun. So
that's right.
So I need you to say something profound because you're not talking an awful lot.
I know.
And I feel really bad because you're not talking a lot. And so,
well, I'll tell you the first profound thing I'll say. For those who are OCD like me, they want you to get to the T of Redoubt because you just got to U. I don't think we got to the T.
Oh, yeah. I was saving that for last because that would be the last.
Okay. So we're not even ready for that yet. Okay.
Yeah. No, we're getting there. So I'm going to go over them real quick. Redoubt. And again, this is just something I found years ago, and I had it in my survival notebook. I had a 1-page printed out that had this information on there. And I printed that out in 2012. That's how long ago and I looked through my notebook. It took me about 30 minutes to find it, and I found it. So read out. R is for resources are almost gone. E is for environment's not safe. D is for the destination to go. O is for overwhelming force against you. U is unprepared for the situation. And T is for, what's T for?
Threat is increasing.
And that's exactly right. Oh, I sent this to you. The threat is increasing. And so, and I thought, well, maybe overwhelming force and threat. No, that's not the same. Overwhelming force against you, the threat is majorly there. Threat is increasing. Let's say, let me look at my notes here. Oh, so a hurricane comes up through South Carolina, gets near Charlotte, and it's coming towards Charlotte, and all of a sudden, it's like you see it's not dying down. You can see that it might be good to just go. The threats are increasing. There could be a tornado, or the hurricane could come your way. So imagine it as a variable, and as it's getting closer and you getting more danger, that's your threat's increasing. It could be a fire if you're up in the Tennessee mountains, and the fire's 10 miles away, and you're like, oh, that's not so bad. But the next morning it's 7 miles away. It jumped. And then all of a sudden you say, okay, the threat's increasing. Maybe it's time for me to leave. So that's what the threat is. Now, the interesting thing, when I found this and I had this printed off, I had to think through this because I just printed off the acronym and what they kind of stood for. And then I'm kind of putting my own words and thoughts behind this. So if you come up with some different things, I'm okay with that. But I think this is a good platform to start building your plan.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No. You need to say something.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that I like, and that's how my brain thinks, is with these acronyms and stuff like that. Like I was telling you, remember a few weeks ago, I talked about the SWIFT, and that's how I think, and it's something that can stay there so that you can react. And if you have that, and if you kind of memorize this to the T, if you will,
right,
threat is
right.
increasing, you'll be able to react efficiently. But you can't just have it in your mind. You also got to go ahead and be working on this now and working on those plans. And that's what we were talking about when you heard me talking to my family at the prepper camp, is that's what we were sitting down, and we're already in the process of what things do we need to get, and having that time to make those plans.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, and so, if you're listening to this, it's because you're either interested in prepping or you're consider yourself a prepper, homesteader, a survivalist. There's differences, but you're in that genre. So this is something that's so important you need to think through, because it could really cost you time. In making this decision could cost your life, could cost you put your life in more risk if you leave late to your bug out place or to your grandmother's house or wherever you're going. If you're in Miami and they've been saying for 12 days now, there's a hurricane coming, get out. And you wait and you wait and you wait and you wait till the last minute, and all of a sudden there's a traffic jam. Seriously, I know there's people that can't evacuate, but if you were able to evacuate and we knew that thing was coming in 12 days and they predicted it right there in Miami, you should get no government grants or insurance. I'm just telling you should. I don't know. I have no compassion for that. I do have an example. Go ahead. You were going to say something.
No, go ahead. Go with your example.
Well, I have a friend that I work with, coworker, and his daughter was in Puerto Rico. And she was trying to get a flight out, and she's down there doing like medical missionary work. And the day it hit like that night. She got a flight out at like 1 p.m. that day, and she got out. But she didn't know she had a flight until the day before. And man, that place is destroyed down there.
Yeah.
So
that's what you said earlier. It's going to take months before they're back online.
Yeah,
is what it said.
And she wants to go back. Because people need help. I mean, it's just crazy. She wants to go back now, and they're not going to let her, but she wants to.
Right.
So that's the acronym I've always kind of used. So what you do is you take this acronym, you do your own little homework on there, and put information on each one of them, and then you put together a plan. Okay, if a tornado is coming, well, you really can't evacuate for a tornado fast enough. Okay, if a hurricane's coming, this is what we need to plan for. These are our options. And you go through every scenario, and you put some of these parts of this acronym into that scenario, and you come out with a plan so you're not guessing. No, I mean, if you're a leader survival group, the last thing people want you to do is go, well, I'm not sure. That's not a good sign of a leader a lot of times, especially when people are looking to you to make a decision. Or you're a father of a family. Or you're the mother of a family. If you're the decision maker, you need to think this through and have this down. Right?
That's right. And also, one of the things I was going to bring up and talk about was, because we kind of hit on it a little bit, you said earlier, thinking out your bug out location. So, okay, we're talking about when do we bug out, when's the right time to bug out, where do you bug out to? And some people here that don't have those locations or whatever, what can we say to them about getting the bug out location, choosing the bug out location, or worst case scenario, finding one in a pinch?
Right. You're going to make me reveal my secret. I see that now. Because I was trying
to reveal your secret.
No, I was trying to stay away this. I've said this on another podcast. So here's what everyone was worried about the Shemitah. Back in September 2016, everyone was worried about the Shemitah. It's going to happen. What are we going to do? We don't have a bug out location. What do we do? So here was my recommendation. Now, if you don't like this, I don't care. I just don't think bad of me when it comes to this. But here's what I thought. So if you think that you need to bug out, there's a thing called vacation rentals that you can go online and look at all these properties and retreat areas all over the United States. So if you're in Georgia, there are probably rentals outside of Georgia on lakes in the mountains of Georgia. If you're in Virginia, there's retreat property. There are people that rent their homes on the weekends or for the week. And so if you really think something's going to happen, what you can do is reserve a room or reserve a house. So you think something's going to happen or something has happened, you go ahead and call, you put your deposit down, and you find a place that is kind of secluded, and you rent it. You pay money and rent it. If nothing happens, you had a good vacation. If something happens and you have to stay there and protect that property for the owner, just make sure you take enough provisions for the owner in case he shows up and that's his bug out location. And I think that's a viable thing to do. I want people to be honest. I mean, just don't go take one. I mean, rent it. If the crap hits the fan, you can't pay. I mean, how are you going to pay these people for the house? I mean, you can't. The internet's down or whatever. I've always thought that was a viable solution. It can get you in a secluded place outside. I mean, I know there's some places outside of Raleigh near the lake. It can get you away from population, and you just go and you go on a little retreat with your family. If things settle down, if you have to stay there 2 weeks, you pay 2 weeks worth of rent. Then you go back home. But if the crap hits the fan while you're there, that changes everything. And that's kind of been a solution that I've recommended to a lot of people. And, I want people to be as honest as they can. But, trust me, if you own that rental property and you rent it to a family, and that's your bug out retreat, and you make it up there, and then they have food and provisions and they've been protecting your property, you're not going to be too mad at them. Trust me.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. As a prepper, you should have that provision for them when they come. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Well, no, but I mean, if you take that in consideration, because there's more than one way to do this, and especially if you did have a bug out location and you can't go to there. We just talked about that. You can't go to your bug out location. That's got to be part of your OPSEC as well. If there's something going on there. Well, now you've got to also be ready to have stuff to travel with you. So whether you got a trailer that you do that, or you're going to be coming back and forth making trips, you have caches along the way. This is stuff that you're going to have to consider and put in your plan and your contingency plans. Not only do we need to know when do we need to bug out, we need to know, and going along with this list, where we're going to bug out, how you're going to do that, and your plan B, if needed.
And we all know people that say, hey, we're going to bug in. That's our number one choice. And I'm okay with that. Everyone's got to make a decision that's right for them and their family, their budget, their health. If there's a way, there are people that I know that want to bug in that I would absolutely want them at my retreat. I don't know. You got to work this stuff out ahead of time. You got to think through this stuff. First of all, if you don't think some of this is going to happen, you're kind of listening to the wrong station here. We believe something's going to happen in the future, so we're preparing for it. And the more you prepare, the better off you'll be. Plain and simple. That's just time and time again. It's proven itself in history.
Right.
So, someone in the chat room said they're going to bug out at my place. Great. I love that. Come to my house. Use the resources I have at my house. I have a generator. I have some gasoline. There's some food here. Maybe it's probably 3 months worth of food here. Fine. Come, take it. You're going to fight with all my neighbors to get it. But just know that if the crap hits the fan, I'm not coming home. It's plain and simple. There's no way I would come home. If I'm at church and my wife's at work, there's no reason for us to come home except maybe to get our kids. Also know I'll be gone probably before you start even thinking about even bugging out, because I'm an early bug out person. I'm going to read the signs. I'm going to make a judgment call, and we're gone. It could just be a long 3-day weekend. My resources aren't here. Plain and simple. When I came out of the closet, in a sense, put myself out there, got a radio show, started Carolina Prepper Networks, did a survival school. I knew that people would think that, and I'm like, okay, I've got to have a plan. And so, that's been 12 years in the making. So, but yeah, you'll be fighting with my neighbors to get this stuff.
Well, someone brought up a good point here too. How people with you, loner is no way to go. That was something I was going to bring up. Is also with this, you got to have your group planned out, and not just your group, but like what we're doing. We have the network and stuff. There may be other groups that you know of, and groups can help other groups. And I think you and I are big on that. Is helping. helping within reason those that we can and what we can. But you definitely want that network of groups as well. So you want your group, and then I would even say like a network of groups.
Yes. And that's, preppers, we're so secretive about everything we do, and for a good thing, you know what I mean? There is a reason, but if groups could learn to trust each other, and it could be very helpful for sure. I know where my group is and where we're going. I know there's a group about 1.5 miles from us. And it's kind of interesting because we want to know what they got and they want to know what we got. And so we just kind of told them the basics and proved to them that we had some of the basics of what we had. Because last thing you want is a group that has nothing, and then your group has all this stuff. So we've kind of shared a little bit. And it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of faith and trust there, which, we were apprehensive and they were apprehensive. But once I kind of got the idea that they had, what they had, and I was willing to kind of say, okay, you guys are pretty stable. We'll be pretty stable. We won't really need each other's resources. Then that changed things. So anyway, but yeah, and we're not a group that's going to go out and disappear either. We're going to go out, disappear, protect our families, protect our kids, eat our dogs. No, just kidding on that. And then we're going to go out in the community, sneak out in the community, and try to help other people as well. So we have more resources than what we need. Hopefully, we will. So, well, we only have a couple minutes left. I do want to mention that, Dale is not the good one we're talking about. It's Mark of Prepper Recon, and he's going to be on the 30th. I'm so excited about that. Dale is, I've listened to this guy for years, and I always enjoy his show, and I've read his books. But the other good one, Mark, Dale, I should get him on because I've been friends with him for a while as well. But so I hope the acronym will help you think through the know when to bug out. Hey, that's about our show tonight. We got about a minute. Hey, if you're listening to us live, just remember we do go to a podcast. We're on iTunes and we're on Google Play. And if you're listening to us on a podcast, we are live every Monday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the prepperbroadcasting.com. Prepperbroadcasting.com. You can come join in our chat room. It's been packed tonight, and people just still chatting in there. But, hey, we appreciate it. We enjoy doing this, don't we, Tenderfoot?
Oh, yeah, man.
It's fun. And, we know it's probably mediocre, and we're okay with that.
Yeah, I like it better when I'm actually there.
Yeah, that way I can look at your eyes when I say something crazy. You're like, did he just say that? It is more difficult when you're not here. That's why I like across the table, because it's you can react and tell when each other are going to pause. But, hey, guys, thanks again. This is Prepping Academy, preppingacademy.com. Go sign up for a mailing list, and we will be with you next Monday night. Y'all take care. Thanks, Tenderfoot.
Has your data been hacked? Do you feel uneasy about the vulnerability of your personal information online? Were you involved in the Target, LinkedIn, or Microsoft data leaks? Don't know? If not, then pay attention. Join Forrest Garvin from PrepperNet for a free webinar on privacy and security. Gain insights into safe internet browsing, VPNs, crafting online aliases, secure emails, detecting if your data has been hacked, and managing passwords. Secure your spot today for this webinar on privacy and security. It's free. This webinar delves into comprehensive strategies for bolstering your online privacy. We've got you covered, from fortifying your passwords to shielding your financial information and mastering state-of-the-art encryption techniques. We're offering 2 convenient dates to suit your schedule. Reserve your spot now at preppernet.com/privacy. Don't let cyber threats erode your peace of mind any longer. Take the first step toward a safer, more secure online experience by joining us for our free webinar. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to safeguarding your privacy. Sign up now at preppernet.com/privacy. We'll see you there.